Welcome back to Adventures with Bam. I'm Brent Billings.
And I'm Maggie Billings.
And this episode has us discussing my recent trip to Wichita.
Tell us everything.
A homecoming of sorts.
Indeed. You are from there, kind of.
Born and raised.
Yeah, that's true. I think I always think of your time on the farm as it being in a completely different place, but was the farm...
The farm was an hour east of Wichita.
Oh, okay.
So I was only there 2.5 years.
Gotcha. Well, yeah.
I mean, that's a key factor for sure. But
sure.
Yeah, Wichita is where I was born, and also the first time I have traveled with Marty other than an all-staff conference where everybody in our organization gets together once a year, or an Israel or Turkey trip. Other than those scenarios, I guess there's a Bama retreat. Anyway, the first time he and I have gone somewhere and like attended events or hosted events since February 2020, before the pandemic ruined everything for us.
For real. And everyone else.
Yeah, right. So it was fun. I got in Thursday night, and Marty was supposed to get in Friday morning, but his flight was delayed, so I had some extra time. I walked around downtown a little bit, went to the Keeper of the Plains statue, which is the first time I have seen that up close in person. Maybe I saw it when I was a kid, but I just don't know why I would have been down there. I know there was like an old town, some kind of a harvest festival-y kind of thing.
Okay.
Not like Halloween alternative, but like a fall festival sort of deal.
Sure.
Bunch of shops. I think we would go down there like every year, and my mom would buy like not like a sundress, but some kind of a particular kind of dress. You'd have to ask my sister or my mom, I guess. I could ask her.
Yeah.
But not me. I can't remember. Anyway, I remember doing that, but like we just didn't do anything downtown. So I got to explore some parts of Wichita that I hadn't ever really spent any time in.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I think I forget, like in the context, because I grew up in Coeur d'Alene, which is much smaller and would be weirder for someone to grow up in Coeur d'Alene and never go downtown. Mm-hmm. But Wichita is just so much bigger and so much more spread out that, it makes more sense.
So did that. Discovered a new flavor of Bing.
Oh my.
It's actually very difficult to get Bing in Wichita. And the place that I go to had an extra flavor, a citrus.
Ooh.
Bing citrus made with grapefruit, lime, and cherry.
That sounds amazing to me.
It was actually pretty good.
Okay.
You know, there are some flavors of Bing where I'm like, I don't even really want it, even if it's the only option. And then there are some that are like, well, if they don't have cherry, I guess I'll tolerate it. And this one is like heavy tolerate, borderline enjoy.
Borderline enjoy.
I mean, honestly, like it was so much better than I expected.
Okay.
So that was fun. I've also seen them at Rosar's here now. So it seems like they are starting to roll out.
I would almost try that. I'm a big citrus fan. Allergic as I may be.
We don't need two people addicted to Bing in this household.
I don't think I would get addicted. I think just because I like something doesn't mean I'm going to get addicted to it.
I mean, I'm not technically addicted either, but I really like it.
Aren't you?
I depend on the caffeine.
So I think that's considered addiction.
Yeah,
if you're dependent on it.
I also don't have withdrawal symptoms like when I've gone to Europe or the Middle East and haven't had it. I don't have a physiological response to...
I don't know that that's the defining characteristic of addiction, though.
Well, that sounds like another episode.
Anyway.
So I ended up picking up Marty. We went to somebody's house that evening and met with a bunch of people there. We had a big event at a church Saturday morning. A couple hundred people were there, which is simultaneously exciting, but also a little bit sad because I wish I could talk to every person there, and it's just not possible. I feel like 30 people is about the limit of where I can actually have some level of conversation with everybody who's there.
Sure.
And of course, we were way, way past that. But then we were having lunch with another group actually at the church. So we just kind of walked across the walkway and had lunch with some people there. Some people I had met before and quite a few people who were new. And then we met some more people at a different house. And then that evening, I went to dinner with my grandma and my uncle.
Mm.
That was great. And
Right.
Marty went to dinner with some of the people that we'd met earlier in the weekend. So we kind of split up for a moment there. But then Sunday morning, we were visiting a couple of churches. And the best part about this church situation. So the first one we go to, we have somebody come out and greet us in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like, see us pull into the church parking lot, comes out of the building and greets us as we're getting out of the car. And this guy introduces himself, takes us inside, and then he's like, let me go get my wife. She's a huge Bama fan. She's going to be so excited to meet you. And brings her out. I think, well, it must not have been her because she would have known, but maybe it was somebody else who walked up or whatever. But he introduced us, and it started with me and then turned to Marty and said, and read, which was just
the great
so
Marty Solomon.
delightful.
Incredible.
So delightful. And he tried to be embarrassed, but we're like, seriously, that was the best gift you could have possibly given us. It was just an amazing moment.
I love it.
He himself had only listened to, like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 episodes of Bay Mom. His wife was the big fan, of course.
Okay, sure.
So he was aware, but wasn't like,
Yeah.
wasn't plugged in enough. And just what a delightful little cherry on a platter.
I love those moments.
Then that afternoon, I went to my mom's house, and both my sisters were there. Kids were running around.
Your Kansas sisters.
Yeah.
When you say both your sisters, for clarity.
My biological family.
Yes. Which your sister is also biological.
Yes.
She's no less biological.
I know. See, yeah.
2 sisters in Kansas.
The ones
one
who are
sister
in Wichita.
Idaho. I know. Not everybody is funky fresh on your story, so it's good to throw out reminders.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
there are people who know you personally who are still confused about your family tree.
I'm confused about my family tree.
Most people are.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter. The ones in Wichita. We're talking about Wichita.
Yeah, but
Anyway, we'll probably do that follow-up episode on my adoption story.
probably should.
A couple episodes here.
A refresher and updater.
Yeah. So anyway, hung out with them, had dinner. Then we went and visited another group Sunday night. And then Monday we got up and we drove to Manhattan, and we went to K-State.
Kansas, Manhattan,
Kansas.
I
Yes.
know.
Come on. Context clues. People can figure this
Not everybody
out.
knows there's a Manhattan, Kansas.
Well, they can figure it out. I'm about to start talking about Kansas State University.
Well, there you go.
Give people some credit. Anyway, we went up a little early, went to Kansas State University because my great-grandpa was a track coach there, and I was trying to see if they had some stuff. So that actually turned out to be its whole own story, so we're going to do another episode on that later. But then we were at somebody's house that evening. We did 2 meetings. We did one with college students, like exclusively college students, and then another one later for just anyone else who wanted to stop by, which happened to be a couple of extra college students as well. So a couple, I think there were 27 in the first one and 24 in the second. So
Man.
pretty good couple of groups there. Didn't get to talk to everybody in those meetings either.
Sure enough.
Whatever. So then we drove back to Wichita that night and flew out the next morning. So it was a good trip. Met a ton of people, saw a ton more people who I didn't get to meet. And yeah, it was a good time. Got to see family. Pretty much did it all.
What would you say is your highlight?
Oh, the whole thing.
The whole thing? That's not a highlight. That's just saying I enjoyed my trip.
I did. I loved everything. Dinner with my grandma was great because I got some stories about her early work career, and apparently she worked for Boeing at one point, which I didn't know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep, what?
I knew that. I got to send you to Facebook more because I learned things about your family on Facebook, but you're never on Facebook. So
Yeah, well, I don't have time.
I have been trying to remind you for a few months because there's a post of your grandma and some of those old photos of her with Boeing. And I couldn't remember if you had seen these or not, but they're pretty cool.
Oh, guess not.
So we'll have to do that after this.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah, it was good. So the whole thing.
Glad
Great.
you had a good time.
What about your experience of my trip?
You know what? This time was so much better. I was a little nervous because, when you left in January for your all staff conference, I went into it all all confident because I was like, this will be fine. This is like our 100th time, solo parenting. And it was not fine in any way. It was so much not fine. So I was a little nervous this time, and this time was actually fine. And a big part of that, Brent, is your special little notes and gifts that you left for each day. People Brent left. So you were gone, what, 5 days? 5, 6 days, something?
Yeah, something like that.
So each day, so Brent had wrapped a bunch of little gifts. I didn't know what was in them. So there were, 5 or 6 gift bags, all labeled, one for each day. Open on Monday after lunch. Open on Tuesday after nap time, open on Wednesday at bedtime, just different stuff. And just a special little treat for each day for the boys. And, like one night was a new pair of jammies for them. The other was, I think on your travel days, it was the Biscoff cookies, which we love because you were like, I'm flying today and I'll be eating these. So maybe you guys should eat them at the same time. Just sweet little things, couple little bath toys. I think that broke it up nicely and gave the boys something to look forward to each day, which was really lovely. And then you also had like hidden secret surprise ice cream for me in little Tupperware containers. And I have an unhealthy dependence on ice cream. I know this. Especially when you're gone too. I think the lack of responsibility in the evenings, I'm like, well, this is my only chance to, just sit and watch The Bachelor or whatever. So I'm gonna have a pint of ice cream. Anyway, well, I would run out because it's like, I'm not gonna buy ice cream 3 days in a row. And then we'd FaceTime and Brent would be like, why don't you check in the bottom shelf of the freezer? And I'm like, I was in there the other day. It's just a bunch of frozen beef and frozen leftovers. You're like, check again. So sure enough, checked again. I was like, there's nothing here. And you're like, what's in that container? I'm like, I don't know. What is in this container? And it's ice cream that you had gotten it from the little like Tillamook pints and taken them out of the Tillamook pints and put them in little containers. So thoughtful. I can't get over it.
And even after the first one, you didn't realize there was a second one.
I had no idea. Why would I check for a second one? One hidden ice cream is already so far above and beyond what I was expecting. So how could there be 2? Maybe there's 4. I don't even know. Maybe everything that I thought was frozen beef is just secret ice cream.
Yeah, no, not quite.
It's like when it's caked, but it's ice cream.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was good. So thank you for being so intentional and thoughtful and planning ahead to make it a pleasant time for me and the boys while you were gone.
My pleasure.
Mine too.